for the first question, okay, all you need to do is to take 450,000 multiplied by 1.5%, then you will get 6,750. So for part B, the value that we gotten earlier is 12.5% more than the tax paid on the first home. So first home times 12.5% will be equivalent to 6,750. So you run the calculation and you will find that the first home, the tax amount paid is actually 6,000 only. As for C, so they wanted to find the upper bound and also with the value given corrected to the nearest meter. Okay, so the rounding value is actually 0.5. For the relationship of this equation is multiplication, hence both of the variables is required to add it by 0.5 for you to get the upper bound value. So 21.5 times 17.5, then you will get 376.25. As for part D, okay, the tricky part here is the ratio given 1 to 200. Okay, so this 200 cm is actually equivalent to 2 meter. Hence, for 1 cm square, okay, of the scale plan will be equivalent to 4 meters square. So in our case, we have 5.6 cm square here, so multiply it by 4, then you will get it as 22.4 meters square. As for E, okay, for you to calculate the volume of one block, okay, simply take 12 times 16 times 27, then you get 5,184. For part F, simply divide the 12,000 by 1.33. Okay, and the tricky part here is corrected to nearest euro. Hence, you are required to round it up and you will get 9,023. As for question 2, okay, so how do I usually approach this kind of question is I list down all the variables first. So for the universal set, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay. So for A part, okay, factor of 12 will be including 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. Whereby for odd number, which is B, it's 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. And for C, it's actually 2, 3, 5, and 7. So things to take note is that 1 is actually not considered as a prime number, as the definition of a prime number is the numbers that can be divided by itself and also 1. Hence, there's actually 2 things that you can divide it with. So if you take 1 in our case, 1 doesn't qualify it. Okay, so now you're required to fill it up, okay, into the Venn diagram as shown below. So for part 2, the set notation to complete each statement. So 6 is actually an element of A. Okay, and then A intersect with B, intersect with C is actually 3. And A intersect with everything other than A is actually a empty set because there's no intersection. Okay, for you to find NB, okay, first you list down the set of B, which is 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Hence there's 5 of them, so the answer will be 5. And for part B number 1, the set notation to complete the following statement, U and V is actually a subset of Z. And for the shading part, it's actually X intercept with everything other than Z union with Y. So in our case, it will be X only, okay, which is P and Q. Question 3, okay, part A, pretty straightforward. Simply put it into the calculator and calculate the respective Y's value, okay. So after you've gotten it, okay, now you are allowed to construct the curve. So the next thing, by drawing a suitable line, solve the equation x cubed plus 3x squared minus 12 equals to 1 over 2 x plus 1. Okay, so simply set the variables in. So in our case, I choose x is 0 and also x is 1. So the respective value will become 0.5 and 1. Okay, with that being said, okay, we are now able to construct the line, and the intersection point will be the answer that the question is asking for, that I've circled up. So it will be negative 2.85, negative 1, and also 0.87. So the graph that you draw may be slightly different from mine, okay, and it will affect the answer. However, no worries, okay, as stated in the marking scheme, there's actually a acceptable range for it. Okay, so by drawing a suitable tangent, find the estimated gradient. So simply draw a gradient line from the point x equals to negative 1.75. Okay, so from the line I drew, I chosen 2 points. Okay, so from that 2 point, I calculate their gradient by taking y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I actually has a writing area there. Okay, the denominator part is supposed to be x2 minus x1. So after the calculation, you will get the gradient as negative 1.35. Question 4, factorized. Okay, this is actually using the concept of a squared minus b squared equals to a minus b, a plus b. So in our case, a is actually 11y, okay, whereby for b will be m. So the final answer will actually be 11y minus m multiplied by 11y plus m. Part B, pretty straightforward. Simply change their denominator into the same. Okay, then you'll be able to get the final answer as 3x squared plus 5x minus 14 over 3x minus 5 times x minus 1. Whereby for part C, okay, for this one, you're actually required to use negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. So a should actually be 3, b is 2, c is negative 7. Substitute all this number in, then you get the answer as 1.23 or 1.9 as the final answer. Whereby for part D, ABCD is a trapezium with an area of 15 cm squared. Okay, so take DC plus AB divide by 2 multiplied by the height, which is a CB in our case. So change their denominator into the same, then you will get 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 equals to 0 as the answer. So solve the equation. Okay, so simply factorize it. So I use this a cross multiple solving method, and I will get x equals to negative 4 or x equals to 3 over 2. So in our case, for lengths to be proven valid, we cannot use negative. So our x variables here will be 3 over 2 instead. So by substituting 3 over 2 into the equation, okay, that we have gotten earlier, then we will get AB's length as 6.5. So question 5a, so this one we'll be using half AB sine C formula. Okay, it's the simplest way to calculate area of a triangle. So after the calculation, you'll be able to prove that the area of angle XYZ will be 38.1. Whereby for you to calculate the value of x, for part B, simply use sine rule. Okay, by extracting the angle 36.35, then we are able to calculate x value as 180 minus 48 minus 36.35, which is 95.65 in our case. Part C. Okay, so this is actually bearing question. So the tricky part here will be the labeling part. So you're required to label down all the information given, such as 63 degree, and also APB is actually 146 minus 63. Okay, so angle APB will actually be 83 degree. So with that being said, we can now use the cosine rule formula and get AB's value as 285.79. For question 6A, okay, so Navpreet select a card at random. Okay, find the probability that the card has a circle drawn on it. So it will actually be 4 over 15, whereby for part B, 300 times. Okay, so just take 300 multiplied by the probability that we gotten earlier, which is 4 over 15. The numbers of times circle card may occur from a 300 draw will be 80. Okay, whereby for part C, part 1, okay, one card has a square and the other one has a circle. So this one is actually the sequence matters rule. So square might come first followed by circle, or circle might come first followed by square. So 5 over 15 times 4 over 15 multiplied by 2, or just add them up twice. Then you get the same answer of 8 over 45. Next one, neither card has a circle drawn on it. So the chances of getting a card that is not circle will be 6 plus 5, which is 11 over 15. So just take 11 over 15, multiply it twice, then you get 121 over 225. Part D, Navpreet select 2 cards at random without replacement. So the keyword here is without replacement. So only one of the card has triangle drawn on it. Okay, so chance of getting a triangle will be 6 over 15 and not triangle will be 9. Okay, however, after you drawn out a triangle, the total number will be reduced to 14. So it will be multiplied by 9 over 14. Okay, plus when not triangle come up first, which is 9 over 15 times 6 over 14. So the answer will actually be 18 over 35. So for the last part of part D, two cards that has different shape drawn on them. So simply take one, which is the total probability, minus triangle and triangle, minus circle, circle, and minus square, square. So the answer will actually be 74 over 105. Question 7, flag A onto flag B. Okay, this one is actually a rotation from the point of origin 0, 0 with a 90-degree anti-clockwise. Whereby for A to C, okay, this one is actually an enlargement from the point -2, 1 with a scale factor of 2. Part B, Part C, okay, you can just refer to my drawings, then you'll be able to identify the answer. However, for part D, okay, this one you're required to memorize it as an option, or you can simply use the matrix calculation, okay, and simply take a point from the graph and multiply it. Then you will get the results as it is a reflection from the x-axis. Question 8a, okay, the total perimeter of this sector is 68 cm. So the tricky part is that the 2 pi r formula for us to calculate the circumference is for a full circle. So in our case, this is actually x over 360 times 2 pi r. Okay, so plus 24 and 24, which is BO and AO, will be equivalent to 68. So after you run the calculation, you'll be able to get the angle as 47.75. So part 2 here, okay, calculate the volume of the cone. Okay, so the tricky part here is that AB joins together, okay, and form the base. Hence, okay, the circumference now that we have gotten earlier, which is 47.75 over 360 times 2 times pi times the previous radius, which is 24, will be equivalent to this new shape's 2 pi r. So after the calculation, we'll get the radius of this shape as 3.18. Okay, with that 3.18, we can now calculate the height of the cone using the Pythagoras theorem. Okay, simply takes 24 square equals to h square plus 3.18 square. Okay, by running the calculation, we'll get height as 23.79. So substitute all these variables that we have gotten into the formula given, then you will get the volume of the cone as 252 after the rounding. So for part B, okay, I actually break it down into 3 parts for the calculation. So for the first one is actually the square at the bottom. 8 times 8 equals to 64. However, for the quarter of a circle, I took 90 over 360 times pi times 8 square. Then I will get 16 pi. And for the semicircle, 180 over 360 times pi times 4 square. Then I will get 8 pi. So add them all up and your area will actually be 139.4 cm squared. For question 9, okay, this is the typical mean mode median question. Okay, write down the class interval containing the median. So first you're required to find the cumulative frequency of this group. So just take 40 divide by 2, then we get 20. So you're required to find which group does 20th children fall under. So it's actually the group that has less than equals to 144, more than 140. Okay, as for you to calculate the mean height, simply find the midpoint of the height of the respective group, which is 125, 135, 142, 147, and 160. So take their midpoint multiplied by its respective frequency, divide by 40, then you will get the answer of 144.875 as the final results. Okay, for part C, frequency density is actually the height of the histogram. Simply takes frequency divided by its respective class interval. So what I usually do is to check the height of the frequency density given by the graph. So simply take 3 divided by 5. So there's no changes in the frequency density. So simply take the remaining frequency divided by its respective class interval, then you'll be able to construct the histogram. I've already included the value calculated, which is 1.4, 1, 1, and 1.3. As for question 10, show that 2x plus 5y is less than 40. So simply take 4x plus 10y less than 80. So this is actually information given by the question, and divide everything by 2 to prove the part A. For part B, the terms that they mention, he buys more large sack than small sack. So y will be more than x, and he buy no more than 6 large sack. So y will be less than equals to 6. So with that being said, we are now able to construct the line at part C. So y less than equals to 6, this one is actually a solid line because of the less than equals to symbol, whereby for the remaining 2 lines it will be dotted line. So I first constructed y more than x, and I rearranged the 2x plus 5y less than 40 into y less than 40 minus 2x divided by 5. So I've chosen 2 data here, which is when x is 0 and when x is 5, and the respective y value is 8 and 6. With these variables, we can now construct the line. Things to take note is that this is a dotted line as well. So find the greatest mass of potato that the cook can buy today. It will actually be 4 times 4 plus 6 times 10. For the reason being is that the 2 lines that we can get a greater results is not acceptable because they are being drawn using dotted line. So the closest point will be 76 kg only at the coordinate 4, 6. For the last question, this is actually a sequences question. So fill up the blank. Part A, you can just refer to what I have drawn. whereby for part B, simply fill up the blank. So for the numbers of line of length 1 unit, the term by term difference is actually a even number. So from 20, which is diagram 4, to diagram 5, you simply add it by 10. Hence, your diagram 5 will be 30. Whereby for the numbers of small square, okay, the term by term difference is actually 1. Okay, so simply add 6 with 4, then you will get 10. So for part C, okay, simply use the formula. Okay, find their term by term difference twice, and then since the last row is actually 2, 2, hence you're allowed to use the formula. Okay, square equals to 2a, star equals to 3a plus b, and triangle equals to a plus b plus c. So simply find a, b, and c's value and substitute back into the formula a(n) squared plus b(n) plus c. So your final results will actually be n squared plus n. After simplification, it will be n bracket n plus 1. So the reason why I use shape to represent the formula is because it is easier for you to memorize and also understand it. Okay, so if you happen to be stuck at this question, feel free to check out the link that I put at the right hand corner. Okay, so I actually explain sequences topic in the 2 videos that I've created. So for part D, find the expression in n term for the numbers of small squares in diagram n. So repeat the same thing that we have did in part C, then you will get the final results as 1/2 n bracket n minus 1 as the final answer. So I hope you find this video helpful. If your friend happen to be stuck at solving all these parts here, feel free to share it to them. So I wish you all the best in your examination. Thank you.